Join me this October where I'll be celebrating HallowZine. 31 zine reviews in 31 days. Joining me will be my friend Beanie. Welcome to day one of HallowZine. We're going to get started with Bucket Bash, which is a Halloween style game. Very simple, very fun. It's a game about a bunch of kids going out trick-or-treating on October the 31st. So I thought that was very fitting given the HallowZine theme. It's written by Kirby Franklin and art and layout by Kristen Denner of Disaster Tourism, which I will be probably reviewing more throughout HallowZine. So the idea, or the premise behind the game, is that you are a group of kids and you're going out trick-or-treating, and there are monsters that you might encounter, and there are teenagers that are after your candy, and of course there's always the dentist that hands out the lame toothbrushes. But nothing's going to stop you from a fun night of trick-or-treating. So you and a group of kids are going to go out and you're going to, first of all, make your characters, which is D12, and you get to choose from one of the costumes. Let's just roll one. Oh, bad roll, but 2. So in this case, you are a mummy. You get the perk of Dusty. You can change a monster's candy to neutral from a favorite for 1 round each encounter. And you can see your favorite is candy corn and your least favorite is lollipop. And we'll get into the rules and the mechanics shortly. Just to round out the other items that you can choose from is witch, ghost, Frankenstein, spider, bat. Everybody's least favorite, the clown, or at least mine is the least favorite, zombie, and prince, princess. You can also create your own costume and come up with an idea, choose your favorite, least favorite candies based upon the same formula that they've devised for these. So the premise of the game is that you have your favorite candy, least favorite, and a neutral candy, or a group of neutral candies. And you start off the game with 3 in your favorite, and then 1 in your least favorite, and then the rest 4 you get to fill out. Now, when you've reached a total of 6 in your favorite and 6 in another category, but not your least favorite, then the game is over. There's also another methodology of using a clock so that you can decide that each pie in the pie clock is 3 houses, and then by that time the game is over. In order to figure out what's going to happen at the houses, and there's a newer version of this, this one's called Bucket Bash, but there's a newer version just out called Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth has the same premise, just a slightly different name, and the idea behind it is that you go to the different houses. So let's see what happens. Each player takes a turn rolling a dice. Ooh, a 1. Jackpot. Take 4 candies each. So where did the candies come from? Well, they've done a really good job of, they provided a PDF that you can cut out candies and put them into a bag to draw from. Now, you don't need to watch my excellent skills of cutting here. So back to the game. If you also roll 10, no one answers. Probably those bad people lying on the floor. And on the occasion that you would get a monster attack, say number 4, you would then determine what the monster is. So if you roll a 6, the monster is a ghost, and their favorite is sour and their least favorite is cinnamon. So based upon that, the character that rolled that random encounter is the one that gets attacked, and they have some options as far as how they fight back against the monster. And it's a bit of a matrix that you provide the players, where it's either if it matches the monster's favorite, or if it's neutral or the least favorite, the result of your strategy for choosing which candy you're going to fight with versus what the monster has will reduce its morale. Now, the morale eventually, when it's reduced down to 0 for the monster, then you've defeated the monster and moved on your way. The morale that the monster starts with is 1d6. That's a high roll for the monster, plus 2. So it would start with 8. So you would have to reduce the monster's morale to 8. So that's essentially how you fight the monsters. And then you fill up your character sheets with candy that you get from each house, using the candy to fight against the monsters. And the locations that you encounter, what you would get at lights out, monsters take candy. Now, the one I would say it's a random table is for if the teenagers come. And if the teenagers come, there's a 50-50 chance between houses. And you can see I've got a loonie here, heads with the queen on it in Canada, and a loonie, as we call them. It's a dollar bill for those folks that are not familiar with Canada. And I also have a little bit of history lesson, a toonie, which has a polar bear on the one side and the queen on the other. So in Canada, we have a loonie and a toonie, 2 polar bear. So anyways, history lesson. So if you go heads for the teenagers and you get heads, you then roll 1d6 to see what happens. The teenagers steal 1 favorite from each of the players' bucket. And then, of course, some of the characters have perks that they can fight off monsters and teenagers. So if going back to your original character creation here, that you can perhaps, as the ghost, change the teenager grubby hands from getting your candy. So that's essentially it. They recommend that you draw your neighborhood, which I think is a nice little touch. If you're able to do it, provides a bit of more immersion. And then you can also do it where you fill up the pie, the clock, with 3 houses per pie, or when the game is done. So that's it. Bucket Bash. It's a monster bashing, candy snatching, trick or treat game for 3 to 6 players. Grab a bucket filled with candy, dressed in your favorite Halloween costume, and hit the streets in search of the perfect spooky night score. So once again, by Disaster Tourism, you can find this at Exalted Funeral. They do have a newer version out called Sweet Tooth. Same premise, almost the same game, but just a bit of fun for Halloween, and I think a good way to start off our HallowZine 31 days, 31 zines. And at the end of it all, we're going to give away a $200 store credit at Exalted Funeral. And we hope you enjoy each one of them, and check it out at Exalted Funeral. And if you want to enter the contest, go to daikugames.com, and we'll be drawing on a live stream on October the 31st.
Happy Halloween, ladies.